My name is Beverly and I love to draw cats. I'm a professional artist and working from photographs, I've drawn cats from all over the world. I create portraits in colored pencil and then share the story of each cat and the art process here on video. Today I'm drawing Mahalo, a bold calico who faced the challenges of her brief life with courage and grace. Mahalo came into her human April's life just after Christmas of 2016. She was a young kitten who had been turned into the city animal shelter with a significant injury to her paw. As she sat in the shelter, she developed a severe infection in her leg. A local rescue organization pulled her from the shelter and placed her with a medical foster, who is someone who keeps ill or injured animals in a home environment until they are well enough to be adopted to a forever home. The foster caregiver happened to be a friend of April's. Mahalo received many treatments of antibiotics and betadine and had to wear a giant bandage on her paw. The vets warned that the kitten might lose her leg. Mahalo didn't much like having a big club for a leg and discovered that her caregiver would take off the wrap if Mahalo got it wet in the dog's water dish. To Mahalo's disappointment, the human always put a clean one back on immediately, but Mahalo purred anyway, as she did through all of her treatments. Her foster became awfully proficient at replacing those wet bandages. Perhaps it's because of her diligence that Mahalo got to keep the leg. Her foot was disfigured by the injury, though, leaving her with a permanent Hang Ten hand sign that inspired the name Mahalo. It is an expression of gratitude in Hawaiian. April wasn't interested in adopting, but another friend who knew about Mahalo hounded April so much to meet the kitten that April relented just to get her off her back. At their first meeting, the kitten crawled onto April's lap and put her bad paw on April's face, something she'd never done to anyone else. After she returned home, April reached back out to the caregiver to find out how she could become a medical foster too, thinking that would be a requirement. It turned out Mahalo was well enough by then and cleared for adoption. Despite being enchanted, April was still uncertain about taking on the kitten, even as she filled out the paperwork. To her surprise, she was immediately approved. The kitten was hers. Mahalo had a fighting spirit. She had been fearless with the other cats at the foster's home and even cuddled up with the biggest dog there. Once at her new home, she established herself as the leader of April's two other cats, Brooklyn the Bengal and Manhattan the Maine Coon, both 12 years old. Although she was smaller and less experienced, Mahalo moved into the alpha position almost effortlessly. On a typical day, Mahalo would wake up on the bed pillow, which she had pushed April off of during the night. When April rose, the little calico would run down the hall in front of her with crooked tail up toward the kitchen. She would scarf her breakfast and then watch April get ready for work. For the rest of the day, she would sit looking out the sliding glass door onto the greenbelt, chirping at birds and watching the deer. When April arrived home from work, they would spend all evening together. Mahalo was incredibly intelligent about opening things and could figure out her maze toy within minutes. She also loved people and could figure them out as well. April describes her dad as a big, gruff country boy in his 70s who was not a cat lover. However, Mahalo won him over by figuring out that he would play rough with her. After each play session, she would sit on the back of his chair and lick his head. It became their thing. She would do this every time they were together. The Christmas holidays were a magical time for Mahalo. She was obsessed with paper and would leap into the middle, tearing things up when it was time to wrap Christmas gifts. April always takes off 3 days to do holiday baking, and Mahalo would sit and watch her bake the whole time. She was pretty much glued to April's side the rest of the year, too. When April would prop up her legs on her desk while making phone calls, Mahalo would stretch out on them and fall asleep, trapping April. Anytime the dire wolves are on Game of Thrones, Mahalo would jump up onto the chair by the TV to watch intently. She had a thing for dogs, apparently. Mahalo experienced more health challenges, but she wasn't one to give up easily. She could have died from her early injuries, but she didn't. She also persevered through a very bad infection after her space surgery and through the trials of food allergies. She never growled or complained, though. She was steadfastly happy. In January of 2019, a congenital heart condition took her over the Rainbow Bridge at the age of 3. April likes to say her heart was simply too big for this world. If Mahalo's life could teach the rest of us something, it might be to never give up and to be happy as much as you can while you can, regardless of your circumstances. Here's the finished portrait. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. To find out how to commission a portrait and video for your cat, visit my website, ilovetodrawcats.com.